From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, low voter turnout mars Osun State local government election. Condemnation trails shutting down of broadcast stations by Zamfara state government as NBC describes closure as illegal. Katsina State longest serving SSG dumps APC, joins PDP. And the African Union calls for immediate ceasefire in Ethiopia's Tigray region. Hello and welcome. I'm Zainab Bala. Low voter turnout characterizes the Saturday local government election in Osun State as residents stayed away. Opposition political parties in the state boycotted the election. Trust TV's Hamid Oyegbadi files the report as presented from our studio.
The streets and major roads in Oshogbo and other towns in the state were empty on the election day. Though officials of the Osun State Independent Electoral Commission arrived on time, the polling centers were scanty in most cases as residents did not come out to participate in the election. At Unit 002, Ward 1 in Iragbeji, Borikwe local government area, where the state governor, Adegboyega Oyetola, and his wife, Kafayat, voted, the turnout was, however, impressive. Governor Oyetola commended the state electoral body for conducting peaceful and rancor-free elections.
Local government election is very important, and that's the grassroots contacts, with government. So it's important for all of us to exercise our civic responsibility by casting our votes for candidates of our choice. I must commend the security agencies for maintaining adequate security.
Names and logos of political parties were not on the ballot papers. The election was conducted with a yes or no procedure. The State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Adebayo Adeleke, said the election was conducted in accordance with the provisions of the law.
We are carrying the rumor, when we get there, we are going to dissolve them. You can only dissolve what is not legit. This is legitimate. We are just doing the right thing. The people, as we have conducted an election by OSEC, and that is the body that is empowered, that is authorized to conduct the election. They have done the election. So there is no reason where anybody is saying, when they get there, we are going to dissolve them. No, you dissolve them, you want to dissolve the will of the people.
One of the residents of the state, Oguntunde Aderemi, said the election was peaceful, but the turnout was low.
The process going on here is all right. Everything is calm, orderly, and there's no any problem whatsoever.
Counsel to the People's Democratic Party in the state, Hashim Abioye, said the court will decide the legitimacy of the election.
Despite the pendency of the action, they went ahead with the election. So they did all sorts to frustrate the hearing of the matter so as for them to have a way of conducting the local government election. But I tell you that the case is very much alive, and the court will come to a determination at the end of the day to see whether the processes and the procedure adopted by OSEC in the conduct of the so-called election was legal and constitutional.
At the Election Coalition Center, some members of the All Progressive Congress prevented journalists from covering the proceedings with threats that attempts to cover the process could be deadly.
Biodun Oyebanji has taken his oath of office as the Ekiti State Governor. He was sworn in by the Chief Judge of Ekiti State, Justice Oyewole Adeyeye, amid cheers from the mammoth crowd present. Oyebanji pledged to preserve, protect, and defend his oath as governor. Oyebanji Deputy Monishade Afuye was also sworn in by the Chief Judge of Ekiti State. Dignitaries present include the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Bola Tinubu, Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, and his Plateau State counterpart, Simon Lalong. Others include Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Godwin Obaseki of Edo, Abubakar Badaru of Jigawa State, Dakbo Abiodun of Ogun, Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi, among others. The immediate past Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi, his predecessor Ayodele Fayose, Osun State Governor Boyega Oyetola were also at the Ekiti Paragwe Pavilion, the venue of the inauguration. The Zamfara State chapter of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, says it has not violated any law for holding political events to receive defectors from the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, and inauguration of its governorship campaign council. The state deputy chairman of the PDP in the state, Mukhtar Mohammed, said this while reacting to allegations leveled against the party by the state government that their political thugs attacked environmental sanitation staff who were carrying out sanitation exercise in the government-reserved area in the Gusau metropolis, in which one person is feared dead, while about 18 persons were injured on Saturday. The PDP deputy chairman debunked the allegation that the party supporters attacked some environmental sanitation staff where it held their political gathering. The PDP said the Zamfara state government does not have the right to stop political campaign, given the fact that the Independent National Electoral Commission, the Electoral Act and the Constitution have given political parties rights to kickstart their presidential campaign on 28 September and governorship on October 12th.
What happened was that we had minor skirmishes, starting from yesterday when our gubernatorial candidate came into town. You see what happened. One vehicle was burnt, close to the government house. We also, our vehicles, campaign vehicles were vandalized. Our office, the official office, the office of the PDP was also attacked. Several people were injured, these are things that has happened. We have made report to the security agencies, but basically to us, we just felt, it could have been anybody.
I've gone around within the hospital. I met about 18 persons being shot with different positions, sporadic shooting. About 18 people were there now on the bed. We have said the government has already announced no any political rally, no any political gathering within the state till after the situation is okay, till after the situation is calm. Today is Saturday. Our youth always go to daily sanitation. They don't have a single stick. They are having their brooms, making his weekly sanitation. We are here for the people's property and their life.
Zamfara state government has ordered the shutting down of the Nigerian Television Authority (NTA) Gusau and the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria (FRCN's) Pride FM for covering political events of the opposition PDP in the state. The statement released by the state's Commissioner for Information Ibrahim Dosara in Gusau said other media organizations sanctioned include Gamji TV, Gamji FM and Al Ummah TV, which are privately owned media outfits operating in the state. Dosara said the closure of the affected stations was approved by the State Security Council. According to him, the Commissioner of Police had been directed to arrest and prosecute personnel of the affected stations caught violating the order in the state. However, National Broadcasting Commission (NBC) described the closure directive as illegal, urging the state government to reverse the directives and apologize to the people of the state. A statement signed by the NBC Director General Balarabe Ilela urged security agencies to ignore the call to restrict staff of the affected stations from conducting their legitimate businesses. Meanwhile, condemnations trail the closure of some broadcast stations by Zamfara state government. The International Press Institute (IPI) Nigeria condemned the action as reprehensible and unacceptable. IPI Nigeria, in a statement signed by its president, Musikilu Mojid, noted that the Zamfara state government does not have the power to shut down media houses and calls on the Zamfara State Police Commissioner not to enforce an illegal directive by the government. Similarly, the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, asked the state government to urgently reverse what it called the embarrassing error. A statement signed by its National Secretary Shuaibu Liman said the action is counterproductive in an attempt to muzzle free and independent media, which is an essential ingredient of democracy. With the elections just over 4 months away, political players are confident that next year's polls will be largely free and fair, despite the tension in the polity. This is mainly because of the 2022 Electoral Act, which they believe has equipped the Independent National Electoral Commission with the legal framework to conduct elections that will be an improvement over previous years. Kainde Amodu spoke to some political players on how things look as the country counts down to elections. His report.
This is the period in time when many Nigerians feel concerned about the political system because of the rising tensions among players in the electoral race. The language and intrigues in the political system have polarized the electorate along the country's fault lines. However, some politicians believe the tension, language, and agitations are a normal feature in the democratic process.
Some go into campaign of calumny, some go into campaign of issues, some find fault in others, and that is why it's called democracy.
Campaigns must be issue-based. There should be decency in whatever we do or say, so that we do not in any way add to the tension that is already in the country.
They are also confident that elections will hold and will be the best conducted when compared with previous years.
Unlike before, we didn't have the electoral framework we have now in place. We didn't have the kind of enthusiasm that you find in the youth and also women. We didn't have the international community to be as interested as they are in the outcome of this election.
One crucial issue Nigerians are expecting political contenders to the office of president to solve is the problem of petroleum subsidy. The solutions preferred are varied and interesting.
You can say you are going to have an administrative price, which is the subsidized price. You are going to have economic price. The economic price will be paid by those the private consumers, like you, having your vehicles, you travel, you go for visiting friends or holidays or whatever you want to do as a private person. But the commercial vehicles, that if you increase the price of fuel to them, it will have multiplier effect because transportation will go up and that will affect the price of goods and services. So you can contain that.
Our natural resources, not only mineral resources, aquatic resources, agricultural resources, including the mineral resources. It's time for a country to use it to bring the world to Nigeria. And the only way to bring the world to Nigeria is that we must ban exportation of any type of our resources until it is processed in our country.
Many political observers agree that Nigerians should watch out for contenders that are suggesting solutions, rather than those who are trying to divide the electorate along the traditional fault lines. From the federal capital, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
A group has called for the resignation of the national chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, and his management team over allegations of insertion of foreigners' names in the voters' register. In a statement released on Sunday in Kaduna, chairman of the group, Mohammed Grema Adamu, urged Professor Yakubu and his colleagues to humbly resign so as to enable independent probe into the allegations. The group claimed that spokesman of the Coalition of United Political Parties, Ikenga Ugochinyere, had claimed that Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State had 15,000 foreign identities registered in his rural town. According to Ugochinyere, that political fraud was committed in more than 18 states and that preloaded phony credentials were used to cast 10 million fictitious ballots. Ironically, Ugochinyere had only last week raised alarm about a plot to remove the INEC chairman over spurious allegations. Dr. Mustapha Inuwa, chieftain of the ruling All Progressive Congress APC in Katsina State, has defected to the People's Democratic Party PDP. He made this known at his campaign office in Katsina on Sunday after meeting with hundreds of his supporters and groups who were chanting songs of his capacity and ability to shape the politics of the state. Inuwa, who is the immediate past secretary to the Katsina State government under the incumbent Governor Aminu Bello Masari, contested for the Katsina governorship ticket under the APC but lost to Dr. Dikko Rada. However, things suddenly fell apart and supporters of the two camps began to trade accusations. Apart from the state PDP and NNPP leadership, others who visited Inuwa were the APC and Labour Party vice presidential candidates, Senators Kashim Shettima and Datti Baba Ahmed respectively. He eventually decided to rejoin his old home, the PDP, which he left before 2015 election for the then opposition APC. It was said he has realized that he and his supporters had no relevance in the APC. The Bayelsa state government has expressed worry that the impact of this year's flooding might result in humanitarian crisis, saying about 700,000 persons have been affected. The Commissioner for Environment and Chairman of the state's Task Force on Flood Mitigation and Management, Isalema Banabiri, who raised the concern Saturday while giving updates on the committee's activities, said no fewer than 300 communities and villages had either been totally or partially submerged. He said that virtually all the communities and streets in Yenagoa local government area had also been either submerged or partially flooded. He said there had been reported cases of corpses washed away from the cemetery in Asokoro community in Yenagoa, raising concerns of an impending health crisis. He, however, assured that the state government would do its best to bring relief to victims of the flood, as the committee was working round the clock to address the challenge. Meanwhile, the situation has pushed costs of food items and transportation high. Elsewhere, wife of Delta State Governor Dame Edith Okowa donated relief materials to 5,500 flood victims taking refuge in interim displaced persons camps in parts of the state. The camps visited by the Delta First Lady are Utagbaogbe Technical College, Kwale, with over 3,000 IDPs, Alaka Grammar School, Ozuru, with over 1,000 IDPs, and Isoko Central School, Ole, with over 1,000 IDPs. Addressing the IDPs at the camps, Okowa urged them not to see their current situation as part of life, saying that God is in charge of their cases. She admonished them to see their presence in the camp as an opportunity to strengthen their divine relationship with God, adding that they should always give thanks to God in any situation they found themselves.
Obey all the rules. Commandants stay here. Commandants no carry cane when they go take floor. But let the word of God be your guide. Children, when they hear, wanna listen to their parents. The youth, listen to your parents. Mama, also put your eye down, because most times we are too busy to know what our children are doing.
Yeah, there are a lot of multitude here, and you cannot expect everybody to eat and belly full as they want. But at least give us the maximum to make us feel great here. At least we are proud of Mama. We have seen a lot that she has brought for us, and we are happy.
From yesterday, phone death cash. Some people they lie down for another ground, but this morning they carry some phone come. Now as you share the phone finish now, some another phone now they don't carry another phone come again. Then we whether we don't get hope because we no go sleep for another ground today.
You're watching News on Trust Vision. Coming up, blacksmithing on the verge of extinction. Details of this story after the break. Stay with us.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is News Hour on Trust Television. Here are our top stories. Low voter turnout mars Osun State local government election. Condemnation trails shutting down of broadcast stations by Zamfara state government as NBC describes closure as illegal. Moving on, angry youth on Saturday evening has set ablaze a suspected motorcyclist thief in Angwarukuba community of Jos North local government area of Plateau State. The spokesperson of the Plateau State Police Command, DSP Alabo Alfred, who confirmed the incident to Trust TV, said police is investigating those behind the killing of the suspect. DSP Alabo said the victim, according to some residents of the area, was a notorious thief in the area. The victim had reportedly stolen several motorcycles within the area. A source from the area told our reporter that when the victim was arrested by police with a motorcycle, they beat him to death and thereafter set the body on fire. There was pandemonium on Saturday night at the Guarandok community of Jos South local government area of Plateau State, following a gang fight by suspected members of the two rival gangs. Reports say the violence had led to the death of a person and injury for 5 others. When contacted, the spokesperson of the Plateau State Command, DSP Alabo Alfred, confirmed the incident, explaining that 2 victims have been taken to hospital. Commercial activities were grounded as shops hurriedly locked up in fear of reprisal attacks by the rival gang in the area. Now, BU embraced Western education ahead of many cities in northern Nigeria. Hosting the headquarters of BU local government area of Borno State, BU City gained popularity for its defiance against Boko Haram insurgents in the northeast region. Ibrahim Ismail speaks to Kadafu of BU, Alhaji Kadafu Yamta Birni on Birma on peaceful coexistence in the city. His report.
Created in 1805, BU town is one of the largest cities in Borno State, northeast Nigeria. People here have accepted Western education during the colonial era. The people of BU are largely Muslims and Christians, but live peacefully with one another.
Islam and Christianity. These 2 religions played a very vital role in the unity of BU Emirate as a whole. You see a house where the father and mother are Muslims and the children are Christians because of the schools they attend. You see a house where the father and the mother are Christians and most of the children are Muslims. We intermingle together, we share our problems together, and that is why we have a very, very peaceful coexistence.
At the peak of Boko Haram insurgency in northeast Nigeria, BU people stood firm and strongly resisted the insurgents.
The message I have to our people is let them continue with this everlasting unity which they have. It is only unity that will make a town or a state or a local government progressive.
Residents speak on the hospitality of the city. We are our brother's keepers and we enjoy peace and development in BU. I was born in BU. I love the peaceful coexistence here and we have political development. They express hope that the current security and peace being facilitated by the brave people of BU will be strengthened for continuous development of this ancient city. Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Back in Abuja, Nigeria's capital city is a center of attraction for any Nigerian who leave their community to live in the Federal Capital Territory. They speak on their initial expectations as life in Abuja turned to something else. In this report, they told Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman what life means to them, dwelling in one of Africa's most expensive cities in the face of doubting realities.
As they move into Africa's wealthiest and fastest growing city, Abuja, Nigeria's capital, citizens from all walks of life, come in here with a lot of hopes and expectations. But it is not a bed of roses. As they set in, they face the daunting task and realities of living in a city that is housing over 3.5 million population.
I came from Delta State with the mindset of, since Delta State, nothing is working there, the government, they are not doing anything. So I believe Abuja will be a bed of roses.
Initially, when I entered Abuja, I thought that immediately I enter Abuja, I will make it like other people. But Abuja is very difficult. If you don't work hard, the truth is that you can't make it. So you need to work hard.
I discovered that even what I know, what I've learned is not up to the standard of Abuja. I have to still go and learn more in Abuja. But now, thank God, things are moving better. But Abuja is not for lazy people.
How about the dashed hopes and expectations? What about the takeaways and lessons learned? This is what we set out to find out from Nigerians dwelling in the capital city.
Abuja is not really what I've been seeing on TV, print media, honestly.
If you are coming to Abuja, you need to tighten your belt. And whatever you are doing, you have to be serious in doing it.
Be focused and to just have it in his mind that if he will either allow people to make him to be carried away with some fake lifestyle in Abuja.
It's not that if you come to Abuja, you will just come and carry Ghana must go of money. You must work for something before you get money.
As they narrate their experiences, respondents here also highlight the need to address some of the shortcomings to make the city an inclusive city and worth living for every Nigerian. But one thing that is certain is for anyone coming into the city to realize that there are fundamental requirements. Getting the basic necessities such as mobility, accommodation, and a sustainable job is also very imperative. From Abuja, Nigeria's capital, Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News.
Well, there you go. Now, blacksmithing, one of the Asian businesses of Nigerian people, is diminishing due to growth in technological inventions in the country. Though new invention is a welcome development, but its introduction is not without a consequence for the growth of local traditional industries in Nigeria. In this special report, Silas Lowell takes a look at the Asian business. His report.
In Nigeria, blacksmithing has been a fairly common practice among the various Nigerian people who served as the invention industries where many traditional arts were produced in the past. Its history is particularly evident to the discovery and use of metal to manufacture tools and implements that supported Nigeria and its agrarian lifestyle.
There's nothing we can't replicate here, even planter machine that the Chinese are manufacturing. We have produced it locally, you are a witness. In this job, we create a variety of objects. As you can see, our biggest challenge is that we are not receiving empowerment from the government, even though we are helping in reducing the burden of unemployment.
This occupation has come under 10 traits associated with modernity, as explained by these aged blacksmiths.
As you can see, these are doors and gates. We are also making things like sword, hose, spears, and hearts of other objects. We are even replicating some part of motorcycles or cars that their spare parts are hard to find. When we see the samples, we forge them. As you are witnessing, there are more than 1,000 people that their livelihood depends on this job.
If you're talking about blacksmithing, I can confidently say the business is on a decline. because it no longer pays like before. I believe technological development has contributed to this. To this end, some young people in the field are bringing new technological innovation to meet up with the socio-cultural change and other current realities that could not be easily ignored in the 21st century.
In this business, this generation is left behind. People are just copying other people's work. What people are inventing in the olden days, now companies and machines are producing them easily with perfection. But not like before, when blacksmiths invent different objects. The reason why we are still in this business is because metalsmithing is part of us.
All these things around you were produced by us. Blacksmithing is our heritage and occupation, and we decided to improve by bringing new innovations. You see, these charcoal irons, hammers, and the new things around here were all invented by us. However, the status of this traditional blacksmithing industry is best described as endangered, as it is currently facing a lot of challenges with the increasing discovery of new technologies. From Yola, Silas Lowen, Trust TV News.
You're also watching news on Trust Television. I'll see you on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
That's good.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project (SERAP) has urged President Muhammadu Buhari to promptly set up a presidential panel of inquiry to thoroughly, impartially and transparently investigate the operations of illegal oil pipelines from 2001 to date and to widely publish the names of anyone suspected to be involved. SERAP urged him to ensure the prosecution by appropriate anti-corruption agencies of anyone suspected to be responsible for plundering of the country's oil wealth and the full recovery of any proceeds of crime. SERAP also urged him to promptly authorize the investigation of reports of the destruction of an oil bunkering vessel by security agencies and to ensure that suspected owners of the vessel are identified, named and brought to justice. SERAP's letter followed the recent reports that 2 illegal pipelines used to steal the country's oil wealth from Forcados terminal and connected to the 48-inch Transforcados export trunk line have been uncovered. Energy-saving bulbs are the natural choice of consumers with low budgets, not just because of its low energy consumption, but because it can also be repaired. In this report, Kabir Lowell takes a look at how often users go for repairs in Abuja. His report.
Modern light bulb, namely compact fluorescent lamp and a light-emitting diode, unequivocally replaced the energy-consuming bulb from households across the globe. Users, however, revealed that the new bulb does not have long lifespan, but it is repairable. It is very annoying when you see new bulbs blasting and breaking, which goes a long way to discourage consumers to go for the new bulb and instead prefer the second-hand repair bulb. A bulb repairer further explained that most of the people that sell the new bulbs feel intimidated knowing that the old bulb can be used to mend the new ones technically. I've been doing this business for over 5 years. We always sell the bulb at 200 naira upward, depending on the sizes. We have apprentices that bring them to us. We repair them and use them and sell them to our customers. It is more effective than some of the new ones because the engine are being worked on for long lifespan. He further added that repairing these bulbs put food on the table for him, adding that he has touched lives of youth who also used these as a means of livelihood. Our friend youths that are now using these as a means of livelihood to keep food on the table for them and the family, adding that it is better than being idle and goes a long way to curb youth restiveness. These energy-saving bulbs are recycled as scrap dealers collect them to extract valuable materials or repair them for their respective consumers. Kabir Lowell, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Nigeria joins the rest of the globe in commemorating World Food Day amid worries that the recent flood catastrophes across the nation may make hunger even more prevalent. Speaking at one of the events organized to mark the day in Abuja, the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar, said rising global disasters threaten food systems, adding that Nigeria was doing everything possible to deal with the situation in the country. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, through the CADA Harmonized Report, estimated that 19.4 million people in 21 states and the Federal Capital Territory were already facing food crisis. The CADA Harmonized is an early warning system designed to disseminate timely and accurate information on the dangers of the food security situation deteriorating in vulnerable areas, particularly in northern Nigeria. The federal government has disclosed plans to commence direct flights from Nigeria to Israel for airlifting of Christian pilgrims. The Executive Secretary, Christian Pilgrim Commission, Reverend Yakubu Pam, said that by the end of November 2022, direct flights from Nigeria to Israel will be launched. A statement from Chairman of Air Peace, Allen Onyema, assured of its readiness to launch the flight operations, even as the Commission said it will promote direct flights to Israel. Onyema stated that Air Peace is desirous of kicking off direct flight operations to Israel in order to ease the burden of connecting flights from the Commission and the intending pilgrims. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, the program continues. Stay with us.
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. Now on the foreign scene, the African Union's chief Musa Faki Mahamat has called for an immediate unconditional ceasefire in the two-year-old conflict in Ethiopia's northern Tigray region. An AU statement released on Saturday said Chairperson Musa Faki is greatly concerned after reports of increased fighting in the Tigray region and is calling for an immediate ceasefire and urging the resumption of humanitarian services. Ethiopian government forces have been engaged in fighting with Tigray People's Liberation Front rebels since November 2020. The text refers to AU-led peace talks that are expected to take place in South Africa in what will be the first formal negotiations between the two sides since the start of the conflict in 2020. No date has been fixed yet for the meeting after it was postponed, with no new date set in early October for logistical reasons. Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni has ordered an immediate lockdown and imposition of a dusk till dawn curfew for 3 weeks in 2 districts in a bid to stop the spread of Ebola. Places of worship, markets, bars and entertainment will be closed, and restrictions have been placed on movement in and out of the 2 central districts of Mubende and Kasanda for 21 days. However, cargo trucks will be allowed to enter and leave the 2 areas, but all other transport has been suspended. Museveni had already ordered traditional healers to stop treating sick people and ordered police to arrest anyone suspected of having contracted the virus who refused to go into isolation. The Health Ministry said on Saturday that there have been 19 deaths and 58 confirmed cases of the often fatal viral hemorrhagic fever since the outbreak was first reported on September 20th. Authorities said the outbreak is concentrated in the 2 affected districts and has not reached Kampala, the capital of 1.5 million people. And in sports, Real Madrid overcame rivals Barcelona 3-1 at the Bernabeu to go 3 points clear at the top of La Liga. Defending champions went into an early 2-0 lead through Karim Benzema and Federico Valverde before Ferran Torres pulled one back. However, Carlo Ancelotti's side added one more at stoppage time with Rodrigo penalty. The result compounded a miserable week for Xavi Hernandez, who saw his side lose ground in the league title race after slipping into a disappointing Champions League draw midweek. Real Madrid remain unbeaten in La Liga this season to top La Liga with 25 points, while Barcelona are in second place with 22 points. Former heavyweight world champion Deontay Wilder knocked out Robert Helenius in the first round as the Bronze Bomber made a winning return to boxing in Brooklyn, New York. The American was stepping into the ring for the first time since his second successive knockout defeat by Tyson Fury last October. He hit Finnish opponent Hennius flush in the face from his famous right hand with seconds left in the opening round. On a lighter note, let's take a look at the Bohai Township in suburban Beijing's Heilongjiang district near the Green Wall of China, where new features in recent years are hosting tourists with bed and breakfast, thereby encouraging young people to return to their hometowns to develop businesses and work from rural revitalization. Take a look.
Buenos días a todos los amigos de Panda Latino. Dicen aquí en China que no se es un héroe hasta que no se ha escalado la Gran Muralla. Y es cierto que impresiona su tamaño. La muralla es un símbolo de esta nación milenaria y de su pujante civilización. Ha sido testigo de la historia de China y hoy presencia nuevos desarrollos y cambios. Vamos a conocer los pueblos al pie de la Gran Muralla para que vean de lo que hablo. Ni hao, ni hao.
之前我们这个村子都是土路，自从我们村书记04年上任之后，把土路现在都修成这种水泥路。
Estamos en el pueblo de Peikou, una parada obligada para todos los que visitan la Gran Muralla China. Gracias a los esfuerzos de alivio de la pobreza y de revitalización rural de China, las personas que viven aquí están transformando el campo y mejorando sus vidas. Aprovechando los recursos turísticos de la Gran Muralla, la gente aquí ha desarrollado una industria característica de hosterías familiares que se ha convertido en una forma importante para aumentar sus ingresos. La promoción del turismo es inseparable de la cultura. Esta novedosa galería ha permitido que el pueblo de Peikou atraiga muchas obras asociadas a la historia de la Gran Muralla y la localidad, al tiempo que ha permitido que los residentes puedan disfrutar del arte en la puerta de sus propias casas. Bueno, ya está haciendo un poquito de hambre, así que hemos llegado al pueblo de Dong Thai, donde vamos a comer una comida muy especial. Bueno, esto se ve saludable, se ve delicioso. Tenemos por aquí hongo rebozado, tenemos hongo salteado, tenemos sopa de hongo. Vamos a disfrutarlo, pero después siga con nosotros que vamos a ir en busca del origen de cada uno de estos productos, donde se cultivan muy cerca de aquí, contribuyendo al desarrollo local y que potencia el desarrollo de la industria turística y también el desarrollo del pueblo. Justo debajo de los castaños encontramos un cultivo de hongos. Se aprovecha el espacio y los agricultores adquieren mayor valor añadido en sus productos. Conozcamos más sobre esta experiencia.
就能带动我们这个村的经济发展，从树能得到一笔钱，在树下我们还能搞到收入，这是大队书记给我们带来的副业。
Ahora vamos a conocer al responsable de este proyecto, el señor Wu. Muchas gracias por recibirnos. ¿Cómo surge esta idea?
我到这个村里面以后，我感觉这个村里面没有大规模的平整的土地，就只有林地。我们这种呢叫立体栽培，立体栽培就是充分利用这个空间、地势，就是我们集中的可以放多品种，提高它的产出率和增产效率。我们呢村里面提供技术，还有这些物资各方面相应的服务。 这个蘑菇呢，不仅仅呢是它具有食用价值，它还有观赏价值。而且我们这呢生态涵养区呢，主要是发展民宿旅游的。我们选择这些颜色比较艳丽的菇呢，让游客呢来观赏。另外一个呢，还可以采摘，直接上餐桌，集观赏与食用于一体呢，相对来说的价值要高一些。
Les confieso que es la primera vez que visito un pueblo de la zona rural de Beijing. Aquí he disfrutado la belleza de las zonas rurales de este país y he visto y he comprobado cómo mejora cada día la vida de las personas. No es lo mismo leer en abstracto que comprobar en el terreno los esfuerzos de revitalización rural en este país. Esos muros, construidos con las manos y el esfuerzo del pueblo chino, es hoy testigo de nuevos milagros, el de pueblos completos que abandonan la pobreza y marchan con esperanza hacia el futuro.
A very interesting piece there, isn't it? Well, there you have it on News Hour. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Zainab Bala. Do have a good night.